into a receiver after my second year. I feel like I was never going to play at Q, and I ended up starting 3 years as a receiver. And I, of course, earned my scholarship. So I got a good college experience out of that. As far as coaching, as soon as I graduated college, I got a restricted earnings job at University of Rhode Island as a cornerbacks coach, which essentially I was a GA, just didn't get paid like a GA and didn't take school classes. So I'm sure everybody's been a part of that before. In 2014 to 16, I was at Pace University, my first full-time job. I had a secondary there, and 2 years of like, team was a rebuild, but I feel like I got my biggest jump in coaching and experience from being at that school, because we got to implement the culture. We got to kind of do whatever I wanted. Head coach Andy Rondo was really good to me as a young coach. Let me kind of have the room and do what I wanted. So I got a great experience from working there with those guys. In 2016, I left to Temple University. I was a grad assistant there under Matt Rule for my first year. And Phil Snow, who's a defensive coordinator currently at Carolina Panthers. Coach Rule's the head coach there now. And then he left and went to Baylor. And then the year after that, I was with Jeff Collins and his staff, and I was the grad assistant for a year, graduated. He made me a defensive analyst and then director of player personnel. So I was off the field for my last year at Temple. I loved the experience, what I did, but I was itching to get back on the field, and got a phone call from Coach Ryan, saying, hey, we got a job open. We'd love to have you. And I got a call probably a couple of days later from Coach Charlton. And about 3 days later, I was driving from Temple to Maine. So I've had a great season last year. We finished a little less than we wanted, but I still had a great experience coaching those guys, and we feel like we have a chance to be even better this upcoming season. God praying if we have a season. So just a little bit about the drills and the things you're going to see. These guys on the screen are some of the guys that influence a lot of what I know and like my philosophy behind how coaching defensive backs I feel. So Phil Snow, of course, I said he's the DC with the Panthers this year. I'm really excited for him. Jeff Collins is the head coach of Georgia Tech, and he's a huge DB guy. He was at Florida before. He was at Mississippi State. He's been at Alabama under Nick Saban. So a lot of the things he does, he kind of takes from that Nick Saban tree, and the drills and all that stuff. Knowing that Nick Saban's a DB guy, has taken a ton of stuff from him. Tabor Johnson, formerly the defensive coordinator at Temple University, formerly the cornerbacks coach at Ohio State, is currently the cornerbacks coach for the newly Las Vegas Raiders. And I was his GA for a year, and essentially Coach T let me coach the safeties with him. Like it was never like, it was me and him coaching them together. And so a lot of things that he taught, I kind of followed that footstep. And then Fran Brown is currently the co-DC and corners coach at Rutgers. He was formerly at Baylor and then at Temple as well. And a lot of the things he teaches, him and Coach Snow kind of build that same technique and philosophy. So a lot of things I'm talking about come from these guys. Right? Guys that I've been able to coach, and this is not like a pumping my chest out thing, but the drills that we do, they work. They transition to, from high school to college to the little league level. But Sean Chandler's with the Giants. He was a safety corner at Temple. Rocky Asin last year was like the best name in the draft last year as far as names. He was at Temple last year. Nate Harrison is a corner for the Jets, and then Delvon Randall is a safety with the Red Blacks. He just signed a contract with them. Hopefully he'll get up there at some point when all this is all over. But with those guys and the guys that I learned from, these are some of the qualities of a great cornerback or a great defensive back. And the first thing when I step into a room with a bunch of DBs, it doesn't matter if it was my first time meeting them or like our fifth season, fifth spring ball, it doesn't matter. We're going to talk about these things, okay? Mental makeup. What makes a great mental makeup of a DB? First, he's got to be mentally and physically tough, okay? This is a position, especially at the University of Maine, where we're 95, 90, whatever percent, we're playing press man. It doesn't matter the coverage, really. We're going to be in your face, and you're going to have to deal with that over and over and over again. So that you have to be mentally ready, prepared for that, because at the end of the day, those guys on the other side are scholarship guys too. I was the guy on the other side. So I'm going to win the battle sometimes, but same thing, that guy's got to believe that no matter how many times he goes there, he loves challenges and he's going ready to play again. Again, love challenges. You gotta want that. Coach hard. I'm not a holler and screamer type of coach. I'm more of like a kind of direct to the point, very blunt. My dad was a high school coach for years and years and years. I kind of grew up in coaching. So like I kind of have a coaching style where I'm not gonna holler and scream at you, but I'm gonna tell you that, well, that rep sucked or that was a great rep. And so you got to be able to, guys that work, play for me, you got to be able to understand that and be coach hard. And then if you are the last thing, you have all those other qualities. You got to have a little dogging to say, like, I don't care what the circumstances is, I'm going to try to come out and win in this challenge. So that's very important. Physically, so quick feet. A guy that has, and one best thing a DB coach can say about a kid is that he has calm feet. Okay, calm feet meaning that he's super patient. His feet and his body can move in unison. If I see a kid on tape and he's playing press or he could be playing off, doesn't matter, and his feet are very calm when the receiver's stemming him or slowing down, speeding up, that kid's going to have a chance to be a really good player. Body control, of course, COD is one thing we look for all the time when we're out at the camps in the summertime looking for kids and one-on-ones and the drills. Can they change direction? Do they have body control? Speed. So speed's like, speed kills, right? But, at our level all the time, we're not going to get, the kids that run 4.4, 4.3. So I'm looking for a kid that runs in the 4.6s, 4.7s. Spectacular kid with length can run in the 4.8s, but you got to have exceptional ball skills, body control, and quick feet if you're going to be a slower guy, and you have to understand film and all that different stuff, right? Hand-eye coordination is big for me. I play receiver, so I like, my DBs to be able to catch, and most of the time I know guys move to DB because they can't catch, but the biggest thing in recruiting and really for me with our guys is can we catch the ones the quarterback throws right at us? That's the biggest thing. You catch the one they throw at you, you get 3, 4 picks in the season as a corner, and you're playing press half the time, you're going to be all conference guy. And so and you changed our dynamic on defense because we're getting the ball back to our offense. So that's important for me to see guys on tape take the ball away. And then, of course, football is still a contact sport. Last time we all checked, right? You can't be afraid of contact. You got guys that's labeled as cover corners. We don't have cover corners on our team. If you don't tackle, you don't play. That's just the way it goes. So I talk about, again, more philosophy things. What is the definition of mental toughness? And this is something I took from Coach Snow, Fran, Coach Rule, all those guys at Temple with that Temple tough mantra. Mental toughness was a huge thing for them. So I ask the guys this all the time, and I ask them so much so they could start to resonate with them. So what is mental toughness? What's the definition of it? And for those guys, I make it real easy. Be where your feet are. Be where your feet are. If I'm at practice, I'm at practice. I'm not thinking about the girl that I just was hanging out with earlier. I'm not thinking about what I'm going to eat later. Be where you are. And then rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. This is a great illustration of be where your feet are. Chris Rock is giving him all types of whatever the heck he's saying. Kobe could care less. He don't even know he's there. And that's why that mentality I'm trying to get my guys to understand, like, it doesn't matter anything, just focus where you're at right now. And so that's a big thing for us for this spring that we were getting ready to go into, is that mental toughness aspect for our whole team, really. So it was going to be really good for us. Creating an identity. Okay, I think it's very important for any team, any section of, like, the quarterbacks, linebackers, running backs, whatever, to have an identity for their group, especially, and in a defense as a whole, like the black hole. Well, the identity for the DBs is TTG. It means train to go. And I like that for us to have that, because then you put what that identity means. And if they don't meet that identity or meet that standard, you call them out about it. Like there's a point early on in camp, we weren't being very TTG, and I was like, y'all can't break it down on that anymore because that's not what y'all are. And guys get offensive to that, and then they want to play harder. So just kind of a carrot to dangle at them a little bit. But that mentality is we're the baddest dudes on the field as soon as we step on it every time. That should be our mentality. It doesn't matter. If you got beat 8 times yesterday, you come on the field today, you should be same mindset. I'm a get in front of this dude. I'm a lock Ernest Edwards up. I don't care if he plays, got signed with the Rams or not now. So that's important. Sprint on it off the field every freaking time. Okay. If you don't tackle, like I said before, you don't play. That's just, and I'm not saying you got to be Sean Taylor, but you got to get guys on the ground. Okay. Effort. If I have to coach effort, like our strength coach, he does a really good job of coaching those guys effort-based. That's when they should learn about effort. If I start coaching effort, we're just going to do push-ups and sit-ups until I get tired. But we'll look real good on the beach in the summertime. And then, again, don't waste your time at practice. That's your time to perfect your craft. And then mentally and physically tough, that's going to keep coming up over and over again. Okay. So just now we'll talk about little like drills and like the things that we use to develop our defensive backs. Okay. So if you're a corner, safety, or nickel in our defense, you are going to use these drills every week. So we try to incorporate 3 things in our drills every week, whether it's tackling, block destruction, and footwork. Okay. And really, probably a 4th thing is some kind of ball skill, right? We try to incorporate the ball into everything. So kind of how our practice is laid out, Tuesday through Thursday, we're working, right? Friday is like a work day, but it's a walkthrough. So we do some kind of tackling circuit and what's called 2-line on Tuesdays. 2-line is the footwork. There's the tackling circuit. Okay. On Wednesdays, we do either a turnover circuit or some kind of block destruction or both. Okay. And then we do what's called pedal box Wednesdays. Okay. I try to associate a name, a drill with a day so the guys just know what to do as soon as they get over to our ending. Okay. And then Thursday, we do what's called pro feet, which is kind of a warm up, and then 1-line Thursdays to finish. And I'll show all those in a second. Okay. But the very first thing, tackling. Okay, to talk about tackling, what we say at Maine is we want a short stride, okay? And they said at Temple was come to balance. What you don't say, what people don't want to say nowadays is they don't want to say breakdown, right? Don't want to say to break down because that means like, oh, I'm stopping my feet. Short stride and coming to balance has nothing to do with stopping your feet. You still want to approach the ball carrier. You're coming under control while continuing to press the hip. You'll hear us talk about pressing the hip all the time because that's the leverage. We're pressing the leverage of the man that has the ball and continually to go until we can make contact with them. And short stride, again, it helps us maintain speed and balance on the way to a tackle. So what I'm about to show next is Coach Phil Snow working with the safeties at Baylor, and all they're doing is coming to balance. This is a very easy drill. You don't need no space. That's all you got to do. So they're working in a good square stance. Uh-oh. Sorry, just jumping all over the place. All right, let's see if we can just hit play and go to the next one. Okay, so the guys are coming, they're in a good square stance. They're on the balls of their feet. We don't ever play defense, especially not defensive back, on our heels. So never, I always tell guys, when you wear those cleats, those 4 cleats in the back of your heel should be just like they came out of the box. Your heels are never in the ground. All that stuff in the front is probably gonna be worn down. All right, but the heels should be good. So what you'll see is they're just chopping their feet really quick and just gaining ground, inching up. Okay, and that's what we call coming to balance short stride. Okay, next time you see them coming through, they're just working right and left. Okay, just again staying square but closing the space. Okay. It's very easy. I'm my nose over my toes. My weight is forward. My weight is my weight is on my heels. You'll see the guy be my weight is back. You'll see the guy on his heels, and that's not what you want. You want to be forward. Okay, that's an easy, quick drill, short stride. That's like the first thing day one you do just to get our guys as far as balance goes. Okay, to go further into tackling, okay, so I have like objectives, right? What are we doing in these drills? Why are we doing this drill? Coach Collins is a big why guy. Tell me the why, okay? But with the V drill, okay, we're building toughness. And in a minute, when I show you, you'll understand what I'm saying. Okay, building toughness, like old eye openers back in the day. Confidence with tackling with my head up, okay? And footwork, and of course, if we're tackling with our head up, that means we're playing safe, okay? If you guys want to screenshot this, go ahead and do it now, because I'm going to explain the drill while the film's up, okay? So I'll give you a couple of seconds. Okay, so in this drill, the tackler is coming off the sideline, okay? The runner is on the field, okay? So these guys are about 3 yards off, okay? 3 yards separating each other. The V is about a yard inside that yard line, a yard inside that yard line, and this runner job is to stay, that's not a good line, stay in this V, okay? Create this V for this tackler, okay? So I should start in a square stance. I don't want any false step. Again, my weight should be forward. Right now, his weight is probably more so on the balls of his feet than his heels, okay? I should always step with the foot that's going to lead me in the direction I want to go. So this is a good job by this guy. No false step with this foot. He's leading in this direction, okay? He wants to go screws to chin, okay? So those screws on the top of his helmet right there that hold the face mask, he wants those to go underneath his chin. That means he's playing with good pad level, okay? Again, his hips are square as he gets ready to attack this man. And you see right now he kind of falls up to the side because he didn't really move fast enough to get there square. But next thing you want him to do is bring his hips through, okay, and bring his hands up, grab cloth, and then run his feet. So everything is actually really good in this drill besides the fact that he started to fall off at first because he wasn't there. He didn't hit him square, okay? So again, run the feet to finish. The reason why this is a big tackling technique for Coach Snow is because he believes that, you know, it's all about gang tackling, and that's the way you get the ball out. So in order for us to make sure we get more people to this hat, he has to still stay up, and we have to knock him backwards. So then the second and third guy can come for the ball, okay? If you got guys just chopping guys' legs down all the time, you're never going to get as many turnovers as you want, okay? All right. And that actually, I meant to go back, but it's okay. So, so that's the V drill, and that's you go right and left, okay, right and left in that drill. And it's really guys are just worry about running their feet, bringing your hips through, and then finishing with good grasp of the cloth in the back, okay. And it like dudes get tired, they start banging each other a little bit. Dudes will get tired and they like start to big brother each other. Don't let them do it, okay. Now, the post tackling drill. So probably the hardest tackle in football for a guy. I played high school safety. And tackling somebody in the open field when you're in the post and there's nothing but field to the right and the left is the hardest thing I do in football, I think. Okay. But of course, objective, like I said, is to play the alley or as the post defender. Guys, take a screenshot of this if you want it right now. Okay. So you're going to be about 15 yards away. Okay, this is this post safety. This is the runner. Okay, the runner's job is to stay within the hashes. Okay, but he's going to work that way and try to get a cutback angle on the runner, on the downfield defender. Okay, the defender's job is to close the space by sprinting and short striding himself to not get cut back on. And the way he's going to get to this man is he's going to create a J, okay, while he approaches him. If he just decides he's going to beat him to the spot, that creates cutback angles. Okay? We don't want cutback angles. We want to press the hip and then come to bounce. So this is a good job right here. You'll see the safety coming downhill. As this guy starts to turn, he's still working on that J to press the hip, and this is going to be a good form tackle. Okay? You'll see in a couple other clips where the guys start to look to cut back. So right here, this man, he's looking to cut back. As soon as your runner starts to chatter his feet, you should start to come to balance. If your hip ends up being closed, as I mean it's turned this way, you're going to get cut back on. Your hips have to stay square, okay? So right there, it's a good job. His feet coming to balance, still keying the hip, close to the hip. This is going to end up being a roll tackle situation, okay, which I'll talk about in a minute. Okay, we'll get one more. Right now, this guy is a little bit out of control. So anytime you really don't want to cross over that leg until you get to that flat part of the J, okay? Anytime earlier than that, now your hips are locked and the guy can cut back on you. Any good running back's going to jump cut this guy right now, okay? You got to come under control. As a post safety, we're in the business of stopping touchdowns. It doesn't matter if you make the tackle at 5 yards, 10 yards. You make a tackle 20 yards out of the field, they didn't score, you win, right? So here's an illustration of us in the game doing it. This is number 4. And then this run is going to hit right down the middle right here on us, right? So doesn't do a great job of getting to the middle. We try to tell guys to get to the middle, settle, and then get downhill, but he's working it there. Okay, so you like him to press a little more downfield before he got flat, but this run is hitting it fast, okay? And he sees he got a little bit of help on the right, so now he's going to close the space. He's going to take a shot at the legs, and not a roll tackle essentially, but it ends up getting him down. Okay. Here's a view from the end zone. So it's a good job of this guy just keeping his hips square. If he turns his hips too much, this guy's going to cut back and he's going to hit his head on the goal post. Good job bringing his arms through and making that tackle. Okay, roll tackle. So the objective for a roll tackle is learn, again, the type of tackle used to track the runner's hip when he's entering the sideline. Okay, so there's a time where the runner's beating us to the sideline now, or he's on his way to the sideline, and I don't have the angle to hit him in a profile, okay, meaning straight up. So if I got a chance to roll tackle now, all right, and with this drill, you can use an agile bag. We have a tackling ring, which I like to use, and you'll see this in the drill. But you want to be able to put this guy on the ground when he's running away from me, and I don't have the chance to profile tackle. Okay, so what I'll do is we'll have the defender face this way first. Okay, so he won't see which way I'm pointing the ring. And then when I say hike or hit or whatever the go is, he's going to turn around. He's going to work that J to the ring. Okay, so this first guy goes. He doesn't quite do it right, but I'm going to explain something about what he's doing. Okay, so right here. Okay, so a lot of guys talk about when you roll tackle or when you cut somebody down, you leave your feet. And the coaching points for this, I don't tell the guys to leave their feet. This is a bad rep in this situation. I want you to run your feet through the contact. Now, it's good head placement. He's good striking it. I tell him when you strike this the right way, you should be able to roll and stand up with it. Okay, so he's hitting it with good momentum, but I don't want him to leave his feet. If you start to say, I want you to leave your feet, stuff like that, you get guys swan diving all over the place, and that ain't what you want. You'll have a bunch of missed tackles. You'll be shaking your head on the sideline or saying some words you shouldn't say. Okay, so right here, you'll see a better rep by 13. Again, now he's coming to balance. He's working that J. And the only thing I would say to correct this guy is that his hat should be on the outside part of this man. Okay, and you'll see why in a second when I show the actual game rep. But his feet are really good. They're nice and calm. He's seen the target. He's not leaving his feet. He's running his feet through the target, and he's able to pop back on his feet. It's a good rep. And this just bounced back. Okay. Same thing coming from this side. Good feet right there. Again, his head should be on the outside of this deal right here. It's bad coaching by me. Okay. I got to make sure that's right. So now for this game rep, we're watching number 1 over here, Manny Patterson. He's going to get pretty much a screen pass over here, and you'll see how he roll tackles this man right here. Okay, so again, we're tracking the man. He's working to the sideline. We're working inside out on him. Okay. So at the point of contact, his feet never slow down. He's taking his shot. His hat is on the outside part of the man, and he's able to roll and finish on his tackle right now. Okay, that's a pretty good rep of it. Probably the cleanest rep we had all year with the actual roll. You're gonna get a lot of profile tackles and a lot of just kind of straight up tackles in the season, but this is a good way for defensive backs to get guys down. This guy's probably the same size as Manny, so he just said, I'm gonna try to knock him out, which then he finished with a roll. Okay. So block destruction. Now we tackle. Now we got to work on getting off of blocks. Okay. So the V drill is still, it's the same setup, but now you're just working on getting off the block now, okay? So if you want to screenshot that, go ahead and do it. All right, so to start the V drill, initially, before we actually do the actual V drill, we're just gonna, Coach Snow likes to teach it the fit first, where your hand placement is and where your hat screw to chin should be, and then the snatch part of it. So we have a technique at at Maine called snatch technique. We do it on punt team all the time. Okay, so when our punt team gets held up, okay, their job is to get their hands inside the breastplate, pull away from the place you want to release. So if I want to release to my left, I have to snatch him at the lockout, snatch him right to then release left. So what you'll see a lot of times, you'll see my guys do it in the drill, is they will try to pull the same way they're trying to go, and you won't get off clean. Okay, so you need to snatch away from where I'm trying to go. So lock out. So this is going to be this part where initially when you hit them, you're going to create that separation and shock them. So I like to say shock, lock out, escape. Okay, so shock and the lockout should be simultaneously, and then here comes the snatch. And when you snatch, you're going to pull that leg through to get yourself through, usually finish with some kind of rip. These guys come to balance after they're through. Okay, the same thing here. Running his feet, lock him out, snatch through. Okay, pretty good there. Now the V drill, you set it up in the V drill. So again, same thing. I'm screws to chin just like I would be tackling. Okay, screws to chin. This guy is a lot shorter than this dude. You'll see in the rep right here. He kind of gets low, but this dude is a shorter guy. Okay, but this is a good knockback. Okay, like you guys heard Coach Vaughn talk about yesterday, he's snapping the neck back of the tight end and all that different stuff. Okay, this is the same thing when we snap his neck back. Okay, the extension should be simultaneously. I made contact. I want to create separation now, and I want to pull him away from where I want to go. So in this drill, we're working to the left. He should snatch him right and escape to his left. Okay, but right now, you see what he's doing. He's pulling him to him in that direction. We don't want that. We want him to pull it away. Okay, but what he is doing a good job of is trying to get his leg through, all right, and then he comes to finish at the end. Okay, this time we don't get as much pop, and again, these guys try to not let each other big brother each other. Like, just go and freaking make contact. Okay, but this is too long on the extension. It's not fast enough. Okay, but right now he's doing a good job, and this is the illustration why I put this in here. You want that triple extension to pull myself through and then get ready to finish on the tackle. Okay. Now, so we've gotten off the blocks, we've tackled now, so we can worry about some footwork stuff now, some drills for footwork. So two line, and we do this on Tuesdays. Got this from Jeff Collins. This is a Nick Saban thing as well. So I figured the best in the country can do it. Shoot, we should be doing it too. Okay. So the objective, all right, basically it's also to warm up. This is the first indie thing we do in practice outside of the warm up and probably some kind of special teams period. So developing our step replace, our hips, our transitions, our eye discipline, and ball skills. Okay, please take a picture of this because I'm going to talk through it if you want it or not. And we'll do this with two guys at a time or four. On game days we do it with four. In practice we do it with two. Okay. So every drill we do, we start in a good stance. Okay. So a good stance, a good starts. So right now, I would say his stance isn't great because what's going to happen on the stopping the ball, you're going to see him drop his butt. Okay. A good stance means that when he starts to pedal, his center of gravity doesn't drop. He's already has a good center of gravity. I think 4 has a good center of gravity right now. You drop a stake through his body and right through his spine, it's going to hit in between his legs. And the weight is going to be mostly in the forward part of his body. Okay, right now you see Manny, and once he starts, his weight's all back. Okay, that means he won't be able to transition this way fast enough. The next thing we talk about with our cornerbacks, and if we're playing off coverage, which we don't do a whole lot, but I like to teach it anyway so they can get ready for the next level. Okay, is we walk for 3 steps. So you'll see Manny, he's loading up on that front foot, and he's picking up and putting down that back foot to get ready to push himself off. Now his heel should not be in the ground, but he's one to just walk for 3 steps. All that is doing is reading, run, pass, or quick game, okay? And quick game, actually, okay? For the safeties, they do what's called a scooch, okay? So their weight is on the front foot. All right, they're picking up and putting down and are pushing off his back foot and replacing with their front step, okay? They're not going anywhere, it's just a read step, okay? So our safeties, they scooch. Our corners, they walk for quick game and run pass, okay? So on this first drill, the first part of this drill, I'm going to tell them to walk, pedal, and then I will give them a direction. So we call it 2-line because you're working off this line and this line over here. Now you'll see in the drill, our knuckleheads don't work all the way to the line, but that's what we're trying to do, get them to work all the way to the line. And we want to go flat. We don't want to drift. So you see like Manny right now, he's doing a good job of stopping his weight and getting flat down his line of scrimmage. Our safety number 4 is getting a little bit of depth. We don't want depth. We want to get lateral right now, okay? And then so I'll go right. I'll get them back on the line. We'll get them in the pedal, and then we'll drive on the ball. Again, we'll do a high ball, low ball. Depends on what we're doing that day. But we try to change that where the ball placement is. Okay, again, so corner's walking. Safety to the right is scooching. And then this is a good job by these two, better about getting flat on the line, okay? And then we go up and attack the ball. That's the first part of that drill. The second part is that we'll, again, walk or scooch, pedal, and then run. So now we're working on opening and transitioning a direction, transitioning back at a direction, still with eye discipline on me, getting to a back pedal, and then finishing on the break, finishing on the ball, excuse me. And now, guys, I'll talk to you about like breaks. So there's this philosophy, T-step, road runner. I don't even know I'm sure there's another one out there somebody's using as far as terminology-wise. I like to have my guys road runner because a T-step is really it's something that is really used by exceptional athletes that can just put all their weight on one foot and then get out of that break. A lot of the guys in the world can't do that. Okay, so we road runner, and we can have another discussion on that, but that'll be like an hour-long discussion. So we won't talk about that right now. But so what you'll see, same thing with the body weight right here. You see Rich right now, he puts his weight right on his back, and now he drops. But what Rich does a good job of, and he's a shorter guy, he can transition and stay the same pad level. So you'll see 46, the freshman safety for us. You'll see him kind of come up and down this whole time when he's running this drill. You want him to look like Rich, besides the start. Make sure you guys have good body position, and then they drive out of the break. Okay. The third iteration to this is we're going to, nope, not yet. Here we go. So same thing, scooch, pedal, and now we're going to open. So I open both guys inside. Now, so on the open, their body position should stay in the same spot it was before. So 4 does a good job. I think 1 does not. He slightly pops up a little bit, all right? And then you see them sinking to the ground right here. This is the position as far as their pedal they should be in so they cannot waste movement in their breaks, okay? Now to talk about getting out of this break. So technique-wise, what you want to do is that your head, your body pretty much goes wherever your head looks, okay? So in order to get my body to go this direction or that direction, first thing I'm going to have to do is to take my inside arm and rip it open, okay? So some people say that doesn't really do it. Well, if I walk this way and I take my arm and throw it like that, my body's going to turn. So that's just, I don't know. I'm not a physics major or anything like that, but it seems to work pretty good when I do it, just walking down the street, okay? So you're going to take that arm and rip it through. That's a good job before doing that. And then your head, again, it always makes your body go the way you want it. If you take that chin and you pin it to your right shoulder, now that helps your body and your hips get back square in the direction you want to go, okay? And at the top of our breaks, we want to be violent. It looks like we're going out of 40, and I'll show you a picture of that in a second, okay? But after this break, we tell the guys we want them to drive for 5, okay? Drive for 5, meaning it's, a lot of guys want to look at the quarterback immediately out of the break. We don't want that. We want to teach them to drive the man's back pocket, okay? And back pocket is a term that we use for where to go when you break. Because if you break to the inside hip, it's tough to secure tackles It's tough to secure double moves. You want to make sure you break to the back pocket or the top shoulder, some people will also say, when we come out of breaks, okay? Again, same thing here. You'll see guys kind of bracing the top. That's not great footwork right here. We want to be able to get our feet going. It's a better job on 29 on this side. Can't see him as much, but we don't want to hop into our breaks like number 30 did. Okay. All right. So if we end up having a day where or a week where we're playing a team that runs a lot of double moves, okay, like a Richmond of the world, anything like teams like that. Okay, this is how we'll look on game days. 4 guys, safeties in the middle, corners on the outside, and then this is just a double move drill. So same thing, pedal, open, break, and then I'll break them again down the field. Now we're breaking to the back pocket. This is why breaking to the back pocket is important, because if a guy runs a comeback and up, and you aim for his inside hip, you're gonna miss him. But if I aim for the back pocket or the top shoulder, he gonna run right into me, which I'm all grateful. I'll take pass interference any day of the week. Okay, but if you run it, if you do it correctly, you should just catch the hip as he turns and runs into you, and then get ready to run and lean and locate like we always do. Okay, so these guys are locating the ball, go to the ball, the top is at the highest point. Okay. Let's get past those. Now, so that was a 2-line. Okay, we do that on Tuesdays. So then we have pedal box Wednesdays. So pedal box Wednesdays, again, it's a warm up. We're developing our back pedal, our transitions, eye discipline, and ball skills. Okay, please take a picture of that if you want it. Okay, so in the pedal box, pretty much, let me get past this a little bit. So we're working off of 2 lines again. So we're working off of this line, really 3 lines. So this line as well. So this line, both guys start the drill by looking at me, one coach, okay, because I'm going to be able to break them at the same time. So what they're doing, their eyes again, we're in the belt buckle. We're in the belt buckle. So guys, some say waist and stuff like that. I just to give them an actual like thing to look at, okay, the belt buckle, because the reason why we're looking at the belt buckle is because that is the center part of your body that tells you when somebody's going to break. If you're a receiver, you're running a route, your center of gravity needs to get low to be able to transition. So as soon as that drops, that's when I know as a DB that the guy's getting ready to break, okay? Or if he sticks. If he sticks, that means I'm going to stick opposite. So I'll tell him to walk or scooch or whatever I say to get him to go. So you'll see right now my center of body sinks, the belt buckle drops, and now they're putting their eyes to this spot on both lines to get to the next line. To get to the next line, he'll bring his eyes to me. He'll bring his eyes to the other coach. So he has a little bit of tougher job on this line because they got to transition their eyes from here and to here. Okay, but that's good. We want to challenge them with their eyes as much as possible. And then this is a good job getting out of this break. So when I talk about getting out of the break, we want to look like a 40-yard start. Okay, if you're a track guy and you're getting out of your blocks, you're going to triple extension is what I'm looking for, is that triple extension right there to get going, to get out of a break. Okay. Now we would love for that step right here not to be directly underneath them, but it's still a pretty good break. Same thing, guys' eyes transition here. You'll see different guys and their ability to get out of breaks. This is a good drill to do if you're kind of doing a tryout with a bunch of guys that say they want to play DB who can get in and out of their break. So we'll do that both directions, breaking this way and then coming back and breaking that way. Now for this next part, we'll have both guys start square. Okay, both guys are starting square, and on the hit, they're just going to open up and run. Okay, this is being able to transition now, not in a pedal, but in an open run now. So I'll say go. Again, both guys, their eyes are on me, and now they get into their break. Again, same thing with my arms. My arms have to be violent to get out of this break. And then once I hit the next spot, I flip and I stay open inside. So now his eyes are on me, his eyes are there. Okay? And you can break them at different times. Me and Coach Kite, we're just in sync. We just break at the same time for some reason. Okay? And then again, we're always finishing on the football. So on this break, you see the footwork by both of these guys. So you want to always brace with the outside foot and then pivot off the inside and get ready to go. Now, this guy does a good job of putting that foot in the ground and going. This one's kind of like twirling on it a little bit. You know, you're getting to semantics now. We're talking about footwork, but you always want to brace with that outside foot, put that inside foot in the ground, and then get ready to transition downfield. Same thing here. What we don't want is to see a guy hop into a break. Guys that hop, see like right here, we're kind of hopping with both feet in the ground at the same time. That's when you slip. Okay, that was Wednesday. Okay, Thursday we get into what's called pro feet. Pro feet is another thing I took from Coach Collins / Nick Saban, whatever. And Coach Collins, he likes to explain it as an intimidation drill. Okay, now he was at Florida when they were talking about this in Alabama. Now their corners and safeties look like freaking Greek guys. They're 6'2", 6'1", all rocked up, and they're doing this in what's called a pre-game. So it's when you're going out in your t-shirt and shorts and you're out there running around and the stands is just getting filled and the other team is watching you do your warm-up. And so basically in this drill, it's just everybody's in a line and it's all about synchronicity. I think if I made that word up, then great. But we're just looking like we're warming up. It's all quick movements. We're not, sweating too hard. We're just looking smooth. We're building confidence with our feet. If we're trying a new pair of cleats on, which I hope they're not doing, but if we're trying to break in some cleats, getting used to the turf. But right now we're pedaling, we're braking. And I'm telling them when to brake every time. So on the clap, that's when they get downhill. Now we're supposed to, as you saw the first two guys, supposed to hit this line and reverse out and come get the ball. Okay, so he does it, and then my knucklehead freshman does not. And then my other knucklehead is a sophomore figures it out, and then the other freshman doesn't do it. And then, of course, my reliable junior does. Okay, so it's supposed to all look very in sync. And then once we come back, we do that both ways. You go this way and you go that way. The next time coming back down, okay, we'll start the drill in a square stance, and then we'll run, and then we'll shuffle back. Run, shuffle back. Run, shuffle back. My ball guy is supposed to be standing right here. He don't know what he's doing, right? This is just good. It looks clean. It's supposed to look clean. Guys are supposed to build confidence from doing it. And here's another view of it, basically, just hitting it the other way. Okay, so that's pretty clean drill. And we do that in our pre-game before games. And this is like a Thursday where it's going to be more of a blitz day. It's going to be, I'm not trying to wear my guys out in individual. So one line, okay, is more about long pedaling and opening up a little bit, okay? So take a screenshot of it. I'm getting ready to explain. So again, stance to start always, and now we're working off of one line, okay? Simple as it is. We're working off just this line and that line. So again, we scooch or walk, and now we're in more of a longer pedal. So we'll say walk, pedal. So the walk, and then it's supposed to be a distinctive difference between the walk and the pedal, okay? And then this needs to be a quick transition. See how 28, this is not as quick. 31 is a lot quicker in this transition. It should be quick. And then to have the ability to open yourself up in a straight pedal, you have to do what's called a punch step, okay? Punch step meaning as you take this foot, that's the direction you want to open opposite, that right foot, you're gonna have to put it in the ground at like a 45-degree angle to then open yourself up. Okay, so we tell them to violently punch step with that foot, get yourself around. Again, we're using the elbow, we're using our chin to our shoulder, get ourselves around as well. Okay, we will do that both ways, this way and then back that way, and we'll flip the opposite direction. Okay. Now the next time through, we're going to a weave. So we'll walk, pedal, and then we'll weave. Okay, push, weave. So a lot of guys that you'll inherit when they're in middle school to come into high school, they'll want to weave and they'll turn their butt in the direction to weave. That's not a proper weaving. We want to keep our hips square and essentially step replace while we're pedaling to push ourselves in a weave. Okay, so again, we're weaving off the line. Weaving off the line. putting us back on the line. And again, we're opening, finish on the football. Okay, we weave to maintain leverage. And again, like I said, we'll do that in both directions. Next thing right here after the weave is to run. Okay, so again, we're pedaling, we're running in a 45. Eyes are still back on the coach. Okay, so eye discipline on this drill. Okay, we'll square you up, get you run to the back to the original line, and then flip you to finish again with the ball. So again, you'll see a lot with these guys. A lot of their weights are transitions back. We got to get that better as a staff between me and Coach Kite. But you see number three. Number three is actually pretty good with his weight. Again, he's a shorter guy, so he doesn't have to worry about moving a whole lot. But you know, like this is bad. This is bad. His weight is really bad. He's a freshman. Okay. So that's the same thing. We'll do that again coming back. And then the last one we do is we call a triple flip. Okay. So he's going to point in a direction. We're standing on the line. And again, we're on the line for a reason, right? When they pedal, they should stay on the line. So this triple flip, they want to stay on the line as long as possible. Okay. So you see him, he's off the line right here. Number one is on it. So that's pretty good by him. But again, it's a good job with his arms of being violent and ripping his arm to get himself back around. So that's pretty good. But I would say that he's too high in this drill. Okay. So those are the drills that we get into. This is a little bit more technique driven. Okay. So off man technique, which a lot of the high school guys are probably going to end up doing. Sorry. A lot of people end up doing it. You know, even in college now, at Temple, when we first got there, we were off quarters team. So we had to play a lot of off. You know, now at Temple, before I left, we were a press team. And then University of Maine, we're a press team as well. So, but to always start with a narrow base, stance, bend at the knees and at the waist. I know a lot of guys talk about don't bend at the waist. You got to bend a little bit at your waist, okay, just so you can get on that good posture in a 45. We want to push off the front foot, pick up and put down the back foot. Of course, like I talked about when we get into our walk. And this is more for corners right now, but the same thing, just take this walk word and say scooch for quick game and cracker plays. Okay, again, we want the balls of our feet to be pedaling when we're be in the ground when we're pedaling. So we're just chipping the grass. Your foot should really never come off the ground too much. It should be just right here, barely coming off the ground. Because again, if your feet are off the ground, it's time to move forward. You only got one foot in the ground. It's not going to help you get transition downhill. Okay, nose over your toes, chest over the knees, and easy pumps. So I know a lot of guys, which you inherit or whatever, will freaking be going crazy with their arms when they're backpedaling. Tell them to relax. All right. They don't, if you're walking, you don't freaking move your arms all crazy. Okay. Easy with your arms. Just the speed, same speed you're moving with your body, your arms should just be going cruising just as much. Okay. So and then really with some of the guys that I know that teach, their arms don't really go anywhere. They're kind of just stiff. I don't like that as much. Your arms should be slightly moving. Okay. And then again, our eyes in the belt buckle. We're reading the stick, the sit, rise, stick, or stem. Okay. We know if a guy gets ready to sit, he's going to break. If he rises, he's getting ready to break. If he sticks, we stick opposite. And a stem, we stem with the stem. Okay. We stem pedal with the stem. Okay. And then continuing with that, again, we pedal to maintain leverage. Everybody's cushion. Okay. Everybody's cushion is going to be a little bit different. Okay. I like to tell guys 4 yards. If you're a freaking real fast kid, it's a 4.5, 4.4 kid. Yeah, your cushion might be 3 yards. Okay, but I was a 4.6 kind of guy, so when I pedaled and get ready to open, I was opening at 4. I ain't want to get beat deep. Okay, same thing with the punch step, and then you ripping my elbow over, open my hips, and then I got to get ready to run. So that's a huge coaching point when we open. So guys would be like chilling when they open up. We got to run, man. It's time to go. That guy's pushing on me. It's a vertical route. If it's not, I got to get used to being full speed in the direction and being able to stop, put my foot in the ground, and come back the other way. Okay, great DBs, that's what they are able to do. Open up and run fast and then put their foot in the ground and stop. Again, our eyes are in the belt buckle even when we open. And the same thing, we're looking for all these different things to get ready to run or break on the route. The drive phase, so that's like getting out of the break, right? And this is when we're talking about staying, when you're in a drive phase of being square, like in the pedal box drill. So plant the balls of my feet. You want to plant the balls of my feet, right? I don't want to ever be on my heels. Okay, get all the cleats in the ground besides those back 4. Okay, the weight got to be forward. We always want to break to the back pocket of the man, never in the front. If I tell my guys, if you break in front of the man, you better pick the joint off and be celebrating the end zone. If you not, you're gonna come sit on the bench. And I'm in the box. I tell them to go sit with a water boy. Okay. And then again, the break needs to be violent, right? The fight getting out of the 40. Okay. So when you see guys come out of their 40 starts or the blocks for 100, their arms are violent, man. They're in that triple extension position. It's the same thing we want to look like. Okay, drive for 5, that's the same thing. Break it to the back pocket. My eye should be on my man until I reach the man and I can find the ball. Again, finish with my hands secure in the tackle.
Coach, can you hear me? You're frozen there.
I was on a roll, boy. All right. So I'm pretty sure I was talking about the drive phase, and as far as breaking to the back pocket and securing the tackle. So we want to secure with the back hand and stab with the front hand. Okay. So as I'm working, so say I'm working out of a break to my right. Okay. So my right hand should get that lower hip to secure the tackle. My left hand should punch and stab for the football. And I'm working to rake through the hands and away. There we go. So one of the drills that we like to use to work the off-man technique is a 5-yard drill. Okay. So in the 5-yard drill, please take a picture if you want the actual description. But the 5-yard drill, it basically simulates the middle of the route. Okay, so it takes out the walk part of it, the initial pedal part. It's getting you right into the pedal and to get ready to break. Okay, so this is Baylor doing it right here. So again, you got to get on your horse right now. And it's a good illustration of a proper way to pedal. Again, we don't pedal a whole lot with our team besides the safeties. So these guys are a lot better at at pedaling, and we're gonna definitely get better as we go. But you see this guy chipping the grass, and again, he's watching those hips and the stick. As soon as you see that stick, I stick opposite with him. Okay, and again, I'm working to that back pocket. So never let the guys in any drill really just run past the man like he covered him. He ain't covered him because that could be a break here and he could double move it. Always finish on the back pocket. See his eyes are burn a hole in that pocket, and then when it's done, it's done. Okay. Okay. One thing right here, we got to stay in our power circle. Okay. I got this from Fran Brown and Corey Robinson, who was at the University of Maryland. Now he's with the Saints. Okay. Your power circle is this small circle underneath your body that you need to keep your feet in order to burst and get out of breaks. Okay. If you overextend outside of the circle, you're not going to get out and you're going to slip. Okay. So I got to stay in my power circle. Okay. And then the last thing right here, we never want to see our DBs do this ever, ever, ever. We don't brace. Okay. We don't teach bracing. Don't let your guys brace. That means they're hopping and they're splitting their feet apart and they're trying to drive with both feet out. Never let them do that. We tell them one thing. You say you either breaking or pedaling. That's it. Breaking or pedaling or you're open. That's it. There's no brace. Right. Now, what we do, this is us in the winter in the dome. Again, 5 yards off. He's probably a little bit more, about 6. But now he's again, eyes are in the belt buckle, and he's gonna pedal out right now. It's not a walkout or anything like that. Okay. You tell the receivers they got 3 to 4 yards to make a decision. Okay. So this is a good job of him pedaling. He's in a good stance. His ass drops initially, but then he brings it back up. We got to get rid of that little false movement. But it's a good job with his feet. Plant break, drop to the back pocket, and his eyes are finishing in the hip. Okay, really good rep. Okay, here's again on the opposite side, different leverage. Now, of course, you always give him a leverage to start. So right now, I'm saying the ball's inside right here. He's playing inside leverage on this man. So what you'll see in the last rep where the guy, his feet were actually pedaling, you'll see this rep, you see this guy not really get out. That's what you don't want in this drill. He's basically cheating the drill. He knows he's getting ready to break at some point. Make them open up their pedal, okay? That's not really what we want to get at. But it's still a good finish, breaking on the back hip, finish. And I'm talking about running, get out and run. Okay, then another part you can add to this drill once you start going is to add a stem to it. So tell the receiver to stem in a direction, get your DB to weave, and then you're in the same drill. Good there. Okay, so that's the off man stuff. For press, okay, press technique, and we do this all the time. So our guys, they can press in their sleep, okay? Maybe not always good all the time, but they know the technique, okay? But, you know, the first thing you got to know is where is the help, okay? We playing two-man where there's a deep half guy over top of me, so I can worry about the outside part. I don't have to worry about the outside part as much. We're playing a one high with a low hold where I know I got linebacker help for any of the drags or slants, stuff like that. Or we playing zero and I have no help. Okay, you got to know. Okay, so the next thing is the divider rules. Okay, so the field is divided up in different parts horizontally, right? You got from the hash to the numbers and then the numbers to the sideline. Okay, I give guys rules on where they can line up, where receivers line up and how they should line up against that. Okay, so, and then of course, where's the ball, in reference to where the receiver is. So if they're tight to the formation, we talk about being outside leverage. Okay, knowing that the guy's either going to go underneath right now, and most times if he do that, we're not worried about him. If he comes out is when you're going to have your issues. If you're inside leverage, you're going to get out leverage. Okay, so and vice versa. If they're really spread out, get inside. Okay, stay low. Okay, eyes in the belt buckle, of course. And then we work. There's a bunch of different techniques, guys. Talk about for press. You've probably heard of like motor mirror. You've probably heard of peer step. What I like to do is I like to step replace. I think Don Brown's calls it scooch, I think, actually. But I like step replace, okay, and staying square. The goal for us as DBs is to make the guys get 2 steps in a shuffle to work this guy around me, okay? And what I mean by that, I'll show you in a second, okay? So in the step replace, to get our technique and step replacing right, we do a drill called the step replace drill, okay? The objective is to get the ability for us to step replace and control and have speed doing it, okay? Essentially, it's just playing like a basketball technique of shuffling. We just don't want to click our heels ever, okay? And so I'll have a rabbit and I'll have the DB, okay? So here's the rabbit, there's the DB, and he's playing essentially the right side of the leverage of this man. Okay, his eyes again are in the hip, and then what he's going to do, he's going to step with his outside foot and then replace with that inside foot. Okay, and then he's going to be able to. The rabbit sometimes will speed up, slow down. All you're trying to do is maintain that leverage to the right of that man. Okay, without him getting too far away from you. Okay, so when we go to the side, right, our arms are going to help us get going right here. And it's a good job of this guy step replacing. And you'll see in this rep, the rabbit speeds up, slows down. Now we're about 1.5 yards away from our man when we play press. Some people can have guys farther away. Some people have people close. I feel like 1.5 yards is good enough where you can see enough. Like you don't want to be too far back and see everything, but you don't want to be too close where you can't see anything. Okay, but we got to be able to have good sight on the belt buckle, okay? Okay, so once we have gone through that, and we go both directions, right, left, we do that till our legs are sore, okay? We'll do what's called Ali press. Okay? So that's working the next transition in the drill where we are working the release part, okay? So Ali, I like Muhammad Ali. He's one of my favorite athletes. And basically, it's a jab. Okay, so Muhammad Ali jabs you. You're supposed to feel it. So that's the thing I tell them. Like, you guys want to put hands on these dudes. Okay, and the proper way to do that, okay, is you gotta press the man with your thumb up. Okay, thumbs up. That's gonna be the solid part of your hand when you be able to punch. Okay, your aiming point is the pec. Okay, the pec or the shoulder pad. Okay, this area in this region right here. Okay, and then one of the most important coaching points is you want to make sure you have good departure angles. Okay, departure angles meaning from wherever you stop working lateral. Doesn't matter if it's over this way or this way. You want to work on a 45 when you start working vertical. Okay, again, you're still making this guy run the hump if you work 45. If you work 90, which a lot of guys will just open the gate, then that's just easy for the receiver. Okay, as a receiver, when I saw DB just open up, I was like, oh, you easy. Why are you even up here trying to press me? Okay, I could do whatever I want. So you talk about departure angles, working them on a 45. Okay, so initially when I teach the press, we're not necessarily worrying about the target is my hands. Okay, I have hand pads on. I'm just working to make sure their eyes are drilled into my belt buckle, but they can still see where my hands are with the peripheral vision. Okay, and then working the step replace. So you see it right here. So I'm working him to work his feet laterally to keep his eyes on my belt buckle and still be able to hit the target while I'm moving. Okay, so it's not necessarily like, hey, I'm telling you to aim in this spot. I'm just trying to get them used to looking down and hitting something while they're looking down. And then I'll give them a leverage. I'll tell them inside, outside, whatever the difference is. Now you see some guys are following it with their eyes. I could tell that. So I'm just trying to make sure guys are not doing that. Use your peripheral vision. Okay, and it's same thing here. And then again, we're widening and releasing to get down the field for Arlene to locate. But once we've done that, we'll just add the release part of it now. So again, I got my rabbit. All my rabbit is doing is working down the line, and then he'll slightly release, and then my DB will release as well. Okay, so right now, we should be getting ready to step with his outside foot, which is good. Okay, this guy is reaching a little bit because he's far away. But we don't want to reach. We want to impact the man when he gets like a little bit closer to us. But this is a good job of finding the ball, pinning my shoulder to get my head around, and then go attacking the football. And then, so this is the part, this is a caveat to it. So anytime we're playing outside release, we're playing outside leverage in this drill. When we get the receivers, anytime a receiver attacks my leverage, okay, so in this picture, he's outside leverage. If he wants to attack my leverage right now, this is the only time that I will allow guys to use two hands, okay? Because right now, I tell the guys, you want to, just like a D tackle, you want to die in your gap. This is your gap. Nobody can come in this gap. It's the same thing when you have a leverage as a corner. You cannot let your outside leverage be compromised. So if he comes that way, now bring the hand you're already going to use, your leverage hand, and now bring the opposite hand to help you maintain that leverage, okay? In this picture, in this drill, I'm not necessarily coaching that, but you'll see it in the next clip when I show you the game tape. Good job there. And then anytime we are playing the outside part of a man, we're trying to maintain top shoulder leverage. Okay, if we're playing the inside of a man, we're trying to be in the hip. Okay, so top shoulder for outside leverage. If we're playing inside, we want to be the low hip. Okay. So right now we're looking at number one in the boundary. He's playing outside leverage. You guys watched the draft. You saw this dude got drafted by the Redskins. I can't remember. I think he might have been a 5th round draft pick. He was a good freaking player. At the beginning of this game, we didn't have He got suspended the week before for a targeting penalty, which wasn't targeting, but whatever. So right now, he's going to try to attack my leverage right now. So once he feels that, he should get ready to step replace and bring both hands. Right now, he's doing a good job of staying square. His initial footwork is pretty good besides his inside foot move first. But he's doing a good job of staying square and beating the heck out of this kid so he can't get outside of him. That's a good rep right there, press outside leverage. Okay, so the routes that you're going to get beat on initially in press are slants, fades, and then after that, that's just working, having the ability to stay in leverage as far as digs and posts and all different stuff. But the initial stuff you're going to see a lot of slants and posts. So ollie press versus slant. Okay, so this is working on the ability to be able to press and recover on a speed release. Okay, speed release meaning just kind of similar to what we just saw the Liberty Cat do. He's just going right now. There's no movement of the line. He's just trying to go outside right now. Okay, so on the outside speed release, the rabbit is going to be a big part of this drill because they need to go. But on this release, he's getting my man wide, which will sometimes open up my hips. What I have to be able to do is if my hips get open and I'm pressing with this inside hand, I got to take my opposite hand now and try to basically open the gate to get in between me and him and the ball and transition back. Okay, number one, you all know can't catch. Okay, so same thing here. I would say his feet aren't great. He's kind of motoring his feet, and then this foot doesn't move first. Okay, but speed release, this is a better look as far as his hips being open and then having a transition out. In the game, a true speed release, receiver's patient is going to release somewhere about here and then work his way back. But for the drill's sake, and if I had my way, this would be scout team receivers over here doing this. But same thing, my eyes are down. It's a good job with his eyes. Our eyes in the belt buckle. I'm pressing here. He gets ready to transition back. My outside hand gets ready to brace between me and the ball, and I go take the football. Now, in this rep in the game, you're going to see we don't get hands-on right here, but it's a good job of him. Just his hips initially open, and then he just closes to the back pocket. Right now, this is pretty good. He's driving right here to this back pocket, and he finishes securing it with the right hand, the tackle, punching with the left. Okay, and then if you teach that way, you also need to teach if the DB ever gets turned around, like there's a complete 360, which will happen from time to time. If your receivers are big, strong dudes, they can get you guys turned around. So right here, same thing with the speed release. Now, my guy, as soon as he sees them hips sink and he's getting ready to throw you by or something like that, you got to do that same thing. Pin my chin to my shoulder and throw my arm around to get myself back square, get downhill. Okay. I always have these guys finishing downhill back at me and never flat or this way really when it's this kind of route because you got to come downhill, you got to attack the football. Bell man, we got a couple more techniques. Let me know if I'm going too long there, Mike. But so bell man, so we play a lot of press man, so we have to have something to give us some relief. So our press bell technique, okay, it looks, again, we're looking just like man-to-man, but now we're outside leverage. You must be outside leverage, okay? Well, you're going to move and get into your disguise when the quarterback looks away. So that's called an indicator. I tell my guys, the quarterbacks, because I play quarterback, before the snap, for whatever reason, we're looking over here, we're checking over here, trying to see what coverage it is by the outside linebacker, where's the safety. And then before the ball snap, my eyes got to look straight. I got to look at the center to get the ball, okay? So and when he's doing this, you look like press. As soon as he looks at the center, now I start to get into my disguise. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pivot on my outside foot, and I should be perpendicular stance to the man, okay? And then I'm going to take 2 shuffle steps that's going to get me about 4 to 5 yards away from that man, okay? And then on the snap, I'm going to scan my eyes from the man to the quarterback and then back to the man, depending on what it is. So the initial eyes and my initial footwork is to use 2 shuffle steps to read quick game, okay? And so as I'm getting out in that shuffle, I teach the guys about quarterback progression, right? What a 3-step looks like under center, what a 3-step looks like in shotgun. In shotgun, all it is catch, turn, and throw. Okay, so if they see catch, turn, and throw, and the angle over that quarterback's shoulders, they are going. They're believing what they see, and they're going and breaking on the angle. Okay? anything else they see a 5-step drop on the center, they flash the fake at the running back, my eyes are back to my man. Okay. So if shotgun, they catch and take 3 hard steps off the line, that's 5 steps to them, their eyes are back to the man. Okay. So again, my eyes are in the belt buckle still. I'm maintaining that outside leverage, and I'm outside because to get the go route, the post route, I need to be top shoulder on that route. Okay. Now, if we're playing bail man, we're playing a zone now. It's the same thing. I need to really know what the formation is. That's going to be very important because if I have 1 threat or 2 threats, okay, or possibly trips and I have 3, okay. But I have to know how many threats I have in my third, and then that's the same disguise except for now outside I'm inside now. And if you happen to be the number one, by yourself in 3x1, we're going to play that like a bail man technique, outside leverage. So same thing, pivot. I'm working to my third, dividing 1 and 2, and now again I'm all off the quarterback now. Okay, but I'm still in my shuffle steps to read the quick game from the queue. Just because I'm playing a third doesn't mean I could just say, oh well, the linebacker got the slant. If it's a slant, he's gonna throw it. You want to be the top part of this top down on that man and vice the ball with the linebacker and you as the corner. Okay, but once the 3-step is cleared, I'm in a crossover run and I'm working on my divider between 1 and 2. Okay, and I tell them guys, like in cover 3, the route that will kill you is the seams, right? So if they throw the ball to the seam and you don't drive on the seam, it's your fault. It's your fault they completed that pass. It's not the linebacker's fault for not rerouting them. You need to have enough depth and space and vision on the cue to be able to drive on this. So what we'll do drill-wise to help us with the man bail is we'll do a quick bail drill. Okay, this develops footwork when we're using the bail and transition to ball skills, of course. So again, this is me. I'm giving them the cadence. So I'll give them a cadence. I won't really give my hands just for the drill sake. I'll just start saying the cadence. So there will be red 8, red 8. So there's the 2 shuffles to get to the read step. So again, 2 shuffles. I pivot. I'm out for my 2 shuffles. I'm about 4 yards off now. And then there's the 2 shuffles to read quick game. And I'm just driving downhill, give him a little ball to get him in the technique. Okay, so right now you see his eyes. His eyes go from the man back to me. He sees this angle. He's driving a slant. 2 shuffles to get out. And we're good there. Okay, whoops. Now, to add like a person into it, it's a 5-yard drill, but now it's just with a corner and he's bailing. Okay, so it looks the same as we were before with the safeties, but now we're in a bail. And now the most important part about the coaching point here is, again, the 2 shuffles is out. We're downfield now. So his first step should be a crossover. He's running, okay? Don't let him cheat and shuffle. If he's running, my eyes are still in a belt buckle, and I'm still maintaining leverage there. Okay, so right now he's outside leverage to this man right here. If he breaks on an out, again, I have to use my elbow to rip myself open, take my chin and pin it to my shoulder, get my hips square to drive the man, and I'm still in the back pocket. Okay. Same thing here. Good rep there. Okay, and then a man bail technique. All right, same thing. It's just we're talking about now without having a guy in this picture. So show you a second. Zone bail. Same thing I just kind of talked about. I don't know why that does that twice like that. So again, I'm getting about 4 to 5 yards away in pre-snap. I'm getting my 2 shuffles to read run pass. I'm the quarterback, so I'm taking the drops, right? I'm taking a 3-step drop. I'm taking a 5-step drop. I'm doing a little flash fake. Anything you get that's not quick game steps, you're out of there, okay? And then what I do right now is I'll give my shoulders a direction, and now they're driving on the dig, the seam, the curl, whatever it might be. Right here, I just give him a little something quick right here. You should get downhill, get to the ball. I don't know. Again, I don't know why that's right there. But So now, zone build. So now we're working again. I'm working this guy to a divider now. So inside part of a divider. That means there's one and two guys going vertical. So we're getting the vertical seams. And now I'm kind of floating the ball onto where the seam would be so they can now get that same feel. Again, at the same time, I'm working that shove of a quick game, but I'm pressing now in between my divider. Okay, so this picture right here. So again, I'm in the corner in the boundary right now. I have to know right now. I got 2 threats to my zone. Okay, to my third. This guy's included in it. I have to have big vision. Okay, big vision to see 1 and 2 and the Q. Okay, so initially my footwork and this guy he kind of got caught in the mix between the motion, but he's out now. Got 2 steps. His 2 steps to the shuffle or for his quick game. He has vision, seeing that this vertical threat is now going away. Okay, so now his only vertical threat is number 1. So now he's going to start to try to push himself back to get outside of him so he can get vision and now drive the ball. Now what he's doing a good job of is he's being very patient. He knows this guy's not going to run past him. Okay, and then this should be an interception, but this transition break right there is a little bit slow, kind of gets stuck right there. He's breaking faster than his man. He should go pick this ball up. Probably a good throw by the quarterback to leave this way outside. This is a good job. And you see to the field over here, okay, we're working the divider off of these 2. They got bunched, so I'm basically on top of these 2 until they separate. Okay, and then we talk about post landmark drills. Okay, so this just builds muscle memory for the post player, and we go to our post landmarks on a snap at main. Okay, so and the post landmark is going to be different. So this is a warm up drill for the safeties if they want to, if you want to get them kind of going and that. So we're right now where this guy is. That's illustrating where the ball is. So that's where the ball in the hash. And we always want to disguise in a quarters look. So right now he's disguising like his quarters. Okay, in the snap, he's going to work to the upright. Okay, so the upright is basically right here, and he's checking outside till see number 1's release. Okay, so we're running the skate. People call it skate. People call it a bunch of different things, but you're working to the upright. Okay, at Baylor, they work to the upright. At Maine, we work to the middle of that post. Okay, and then you can move the ball to different spots, same thing. Now they're on the hash. Again, they're getting to the same deal, getting to the middle of the field. Then he missed it. Right? And then last technique to talk about is cover 2. And some of the techniques in there is hammer technique. Okay. So it's basically like a funnel and sink technique for the corner. The half safety, of course, is working the half technique. Again, we need to know the formation. They know what threats that could come to the flat right now. It's the same disguise as a bail. So it's not really any multiple teaching as far as disguise goes. Same thing. My quarterback gives me an indicator. I'm looking to look like I'm going to a third. And then instead of going to a third now, I'm keying the end man in the line of scrimmage, Emelos, okay? And then I'm reading the run pass because, again, I'm the force offender now, okay? Okay, again, so talking about how we do it. So once we see pass, okay, my eyes get back to number 1. They're not staying there forever. I'm just getting my eyes to 1 so I can reroute them, okay? So I'm trying to reroute him inside. If I have 2 split, my eyes are on 2 because 2 is besides number 1, because number 1 usually is out of there if they know it's cover 2. Number 2 is my next immediate threat to the flat. Okay, and that's bubbles, it's quick flats, that's a deep out, any of that type of stuff. I got to be able to see that right now. So on my eyes, I should be able to see number 1 with my peripheral vision while still looking at number 2. Okay. So again, we want to funnel and sink. So the big part about it, wall and sink, is the coaching point and where to get to. We're trying to get to the bottom of the numbers. That's what I call the dead zone. Okay, that's the no throw zone essentially. The dead zone for the cover 2 is that spot, where they throw the corner route, the deep sail route, deep flood routes. That's what they want to hit. Okay. And then we always play top down. Let them throw you down. So if there's nothing in your flat, just keep getting depth towards the dead zone. Okay, so this is just a halves technique. So now, again, we're working the same disguise, right? Make it look like I'm working a bail. On the snap of the ball, I'll square my hips up, and I'm just giving them indicators so I can get them moving right here. So that's just pointing them out. If he felt something like out right now, if the quarterback now starts to raise his shoulders for something vertical, and then I bring him back to the ball so he can get that break downhill. But he should, once he turns right here, get to the dead, it's on a 45 backwards. It's not as 45 as I like. Same thing. So they should snap square on the snap. They shouldn't turn before the snap. So see how this guy's straight? That's not necessarily what we want. We want him to push that way. So here it is. We didn't play a ton of cover two. We were going to play a lot more this spring. So this is the stuff I had from camp last year. But so right now you see the guys getting out a little bit early, but in 707, the quarterbacks just say set hit. They don't give a real cadence. So we got to go and get where we got to be. So we're looking at this guy up top and both guys really. Looking at the guy up top, I have no immediate threat right now, so he starts to sink towards the dead zone. Okay, knowing that if anything's coming, it's coming back to him, which is this pivot route right here. I have to have, and he's kind of getting a little nosy with his eyes. He's looking over here, looking over there. His eyes should be here. He could feel these routes. Okay, and now he should see this quarterback throwing his ball, breaks on it. He should pick it off instead of celebrating, but we end up getting he drops it. So, but the boundary right here, same thing, condense. These guys are condensed. Really, man, he should start to work to the dead zone right now. He doesn't worry about having to put hands on him. Okay, he needs to be here for this throw right there. Even Rich right now, he's getting a little too nosy with his eyes. I'm starting to think about scheme right now, so let me move on. Okay, same thing here. Now we're looking at this guy in the boundary right now. Actually, not that guy because he's doing the wrong thing. Looking at this guy to the field. So I got 3 threats. Okay, I'm playing cover 2. I got 3 threats right now. It's vertical, so I don't normally want to let the guy outside release. Okay, that's putting vertical stretch on the safety. But if you end up getting that, you have to punch him, and you gotta push that inside part of his hip in the dead zone so you can still have body presence for the vertical of number 1. Okay, because right now he's getting stressed out by this, right, pushing up on him. And now if you let this guy get a free release, then it's gonna be a tough situation. Good quarterbacks will see that early and just rope a ball right here to the bottom of the number. Pretty good halves technique by this safety right here. Quarterback's looking at me, so I expand. The quarterback does not look at me, I stay on my landmark, which is happening right here. Quarterback's looking this way, he's staying on the landmark because we have the middle field runner. He's gonna lean with all this number 3 stuff. Okay. And then halves technique with the safeties, this is just a way for us to play halves. So the strong safety, and we're talking about landmarks. Everything's a 2 high shell, right? So I got a key to triangle. Triangle being the center guard and the quarterback. Okay, my landmark is 2 yards outside of the hash. That's with the ball in the middle of the field. Okay, for the free safety, same thing. I'm getting my 2 high shell. I'm keying the same exact thing. And the ball is on the hash right here. I'm 4 yards outside of the hash. Okay, I'm a little bit wider because it's an easier throw. Okay. Ball in the middle of the field, landmarks are both 4 yards outside of the hash. Okay. And then once at the landmark, I have to see the release of number 1. That's a huge key coaching point right here. I need to see the release of number 1. Reason being is that's going to tell me if I need to expand or stay on my landmark, including the quarterback. Okay. So right here, we got if number 1 outside release, I need to pick my pedal up knowing that guy's going to get vertical stress on me right now. I got to have good depth. Okay. If he inside release, I can keep my normal pedal and then and keep my eyes on the quarterback, stay on my leverage because knowing that guy's probably going to break inside at some point. Okay, a couple more coaching points on the halves technique versus one threat and the outside release. I'll keep my eyes on so the quarterback looks at me. Okay, I'm play my threat. So I got one threat. That was that 3x1 we just saw. If he's looking at me, that means I need to keep pushing off of my landmark. He's gonna go to one. Okay. If he's looking away from me, I need to stay on my landmark and stem pedal to one, because that does not mean that he's gonna not throw to one, but I need to stem pedal to one just in case. If I have two threats and number one, outside releases, quarterback looking at me, I need to stem pedal to my threat. And then if he looks away from me, I'm gonna stay in my landmark. Okay, that means you still got, if it's 2x2, you got 4 verts. You can still get a bender by one of those guys. You need to be able to play the bender as well. Okay, same rules apply with 3x1s, because the Mike is going to take care of number 3. So that's that guy with the middle runner and Tampa 2 defense. So we just do a drill together, me and the safeties coach. We do a drill together where we do the landmarks of cover 2 so they can feel it. For the corners, feel where the safety's going to be, and the safety can feel where the corner's going to be. So actually, this is just working, same thing, working the landmarks. Working that half landmark, and you see the guys peek outside for number 1 right now, and then stay on the landmark. Again, that's the disguise, working off of a quarters look, bring my eyes outside, and then getting off, working the landmark. And this is the drill when we go together. So all we're doing is we're giving them 2 verticals, okay? My guy's gonna get the outside release at 1. We're getting a seam right down the hash, and again, we're gonna key the quarterback. So in this situation, we give them 2 footballs. They're looking at me too for the football, but they're just getting a vert. They're just trying to get this same feel right here. So work to the dead. He's outside release on me. I need to stay in this little low hip pocket so I can defend that vertical. And the same thing for the safety. He's seeing the quarterback looking over here. He's kind of weaving all over the place. As he looks at me right now, I got 2 threats. I need to stem pedal to this threat. Okay, knowing that the mic is pushing this way because the quarterback's looking this way as well. We're playing Tampa 2. Same thing here. We added the rover / nickel, whatever you want to call it, to reroute him. Same thing. He's looking at me, so this is a good job by the safety. Stem pedaling to his threat, number 1. Understanding that we're going to have the mic running the rail to this route too. Safety corner's doing a good job taking advantage of taking away the vertical of 1. Okay, guys. Question. You still muted, Coach. Can't hear you.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Thanks, man. That was good stuff. Awesome. You guys want to throw your cameras on and your mics come on and get some questions in with Coach before we close this down?
A couple for me, Coach. First off, were you at the National Coaches Convention in Nashville, Tennessee this year?
I was.
I thought I recognized you. I said hello real quick, but you had a lot of other guys around you in the main area there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you looked familiar as soon as you got on there. My second comment is much respect and love to Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Yeah.
Played my college ball at Chowan University.
Yeah. I heard that yesterday.
Pardon?
I said I heard that yesterday with Coach Von Bargy.
Yeah. So you guys were only, an hour and a half drive away from us. So that was a good outlet to go have some fun.
Indeed.
There wasn't a lot going on in Murfreesboro.
No.
And outside of that, yeah, playing down there for 4 years. I played 5 different schools in Virginia over the years: Hampton, Sydney, Newport News, Virginia Military, Fork Union Military Academy, and also a team from your conference, Hampton University. So lots of great memories over the years from the state of Virginia. My question to you pertaining to man press.
Okay.
You talked about your hand placement on the pec of the receiver.
Yep.
Are you going 2 hands on 2 pecs, 1 hand on a pec, and which pec are you aiming for there?
Okay, so always talk about, if you can, using 1 hand. And that's just me. That's my philosophy. Some guys are like 2 hands, get your hands on them. I like 1 hand. It keeps you in control, and you can control the receiver. Okay. So my hand placement, I'm looking to aim at the near pec of the leverage that I'm in. Okay, so if I'm inside leverage, say, just close your eyes for a second and visualize you being to the right of the receiver. Okay, so he outside releases to my left. My leverage is my right. So my right hand is the hand I want to punch with. Okay, so that's my downfield shoulder hand. That's another way to put it, downfield shoulder hand. So as I punch, the reason why I don't want to go with this left hand is because this can get me potentially hip locked on a good receiver. So when I was a receiver, I'm looking for you to throw the hand, this outside hand, because I'm going to grab it, I'm going to turn your body, and now you're going to be hip locked, and I'm going to be gone. Okay, so if I punch with the downfield shoulder hand and near hand, if you rake my hand, it doesn't matter. I'm still chest to chest. My hips are still square with you. I don't have to worry about my hands getting knocked down and me being hip locked. Now, if I'm inside leverage and he tries to inside leverage on me, I'm still going with his right hand, and that's going to end up probably punching the pec or the outside of the shoulder pad. That opposite hand is going right for the sternum. Okay, because now I can control you with the outside part of your body and your sternum. Follow me?
Yes, sir.
So that's the only time I tell the guys, like, look, and that's the bring two hands, because if the guy want to come in here, I want you to take him and put him into the D line. Like, he should never want to inside release on you ever again.
I see a lot of the pros and even the major colleges as well. It seems like when they're in man press and they do that initial punch, they're punching the inside shoulder or the inside pec of the receiver to kind of redirect him to the sideline.
Yep.
And kind of use that sideline as a boundary and kind of box him in.
Yep.
Is that the technique that you guys are trying to teach there as well? And
yeah, we definitely want to use the sideline to our advantage, and we want to utilize the receiver's leverage to our advantage. Like, we want him to tell us what the route's going to be, right? Because if they get close to the formation, right, and the ball's in the middle of the field, well, that's right now telling me that this route's probably coming outside. Okay, so I'm going to align myself properly so I can defend any outbreaking routes, knowing that depending on the coverage, I have to have some kind of help in it. I can't just line up outside and play zero. Like, they're going to score. But with the receiver lines up, how the receiver lines up, what the defensive call is, and where my help is, it should tell me like what kind of technique I'm using. If I'm using zero technique, I'm definitely using a sideline, and I'm trying to deter any in-breaking route.
Right. Awesome, man. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Anybody else, fellas, want to jump on and get a question in?
If not, I'm gonna go play video games. That's what after I finish recruiting, I just go play video games.
One last quick question for me. Were you surprised your former coach that you worked under, Coach Rule from Temple, drafted all defensive players in his draft this past weekend?
No, that's the same way. So if you want to talk about philosophy for a second, head coaching philosophy, his philosophy is, and I'm sure a lot of people's is, but your team is built from the defense and then the offense, and it's built from the D line. That's why they took that D line from Auburn as the first pick, to then the secondary. So the way he won at Temple is our defense ended up being a top 5 defense for like 3 years in a row. And then, we got skill play. We got the offense kind of feeding off of the defense with a power run type of scheme. So I guarantee you're going to see a fullback at some point with Teddy Bridgewater and McCaffrey. And you're going to see a little bit of a 12 personnel type feel to it because he wants to be powerful in the middle. And then defensively, he wants to be able to stop you, get off the field.
Nice. I went to the, I don't know when you were at Temple, but I was at the Boca Bowl a few years ago when they played in the torrential downpour.
Yep, I had just got on the team when after that bowl game.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff, man. It was good to see them rise up after several down years.
Yeah. I mean, it's a program that is formidable now. I
Absolutely.
really like being a part of that building process.
Virginia Beach, who was the better high school quarterback, Vic or Iverson?
Oh man.
Good question.
Those old clips of Iverson, man, he was good. I went to Guilford in North Carolina. We played Newport News my freshman year. I think they ended up closing that program down eventually, but we played Newport News and we played Hampton Sydney as well. So.
You know, if you talk to people around here, they're gonna say the best quarterback to ever play in the area is Ronald Curry.
No kidding. Played a point guard at UNC, right?
Yep.
He played quarterback at UNC as well. Then he played both.
Yep.
He played receiver for the Raiders in the pros.
Yeah. You know, the old school.
That's a good one. I like that answer. That's good, Coach.
Yeah.
Well, hey, appreciate you coming out and doing this, sharing your time and working through the power outage.
Yeah. That was weird.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
So, we'll get Coach D on here next to talk some gap scheme and some offense. But appreciate all you guys from the main staff helping out on this. You guys have been awesome. Every single one's been top notch, man. Well done.
I agree. Thank you very much.
All right, man. Take care.